How y'all doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Can you hear me? Okay. So I started Kape Enterprises last year, 2018. What we do is teach CPR, first aid, and AED. We also teach bloodborne pathogens and babysitting classes. Right now, we are involved with 2 businesses. We do contract work. I'm looking to increase my networking with Fayetteville community, Cumberland County, Kape County, Spring Lake, Harnett County. So we are licensed through American Red Cross. That's where our certification comes from. We have really flexible prices. The pricing usually for CPR and first aid and AED classes is around about $119. So you get it from the Red Cross site. I do them for $60 per person, and I also have group rates. I worked in the mental health field for about 15 years, and in that field you were required to have CPR and first aid, so it just became something I started to do. Currently, I'm just looking, like I said, to network and expand my business to people. I don't know if any of y'all know any kind of businesses or places that need these services, but if you do, please get a business card from me and let's talk. That's pretty much it. That's all I do right now. So it's going to be a very short presentation. Yes, sir.
What's an AED class?
Adult electronic defibrillator. Teaches you how to use it basically. It comes with the CPR and first aid class. It's all about building in one.
FTCC offers a class in first aid. Mm-hmm. What is the difference that you are offering from what you offer here at FTCC?
I combine all 3. I combine CPR, first aid, and AED in one class. And if I'm not mistaken, these classes is here. They last longer than 1 day, right?
Oh yeah, they last about the whole course.
My session is a 1 day. Mine is a 1 day session. You get a 2-year certificate from it, and it lasts about 4 hours. So and the certificate is good at all jobs. I've never had a complaint about it from any jobs. Yes, sir.
My concern, I like what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I like it because there's a need for it.
Yes, sir.
You know, because if you said it's weekly, thumbs up to that. Your first aid, do we do with held objects? Do we do cut throats? Do we do bullet wounds? Do we do anything with smashed heads?
No, that would go into the medical. We're more of a first aid, lacerations, heat stroke, those kind of things that can happen with people at the facility. We don't really go into the tourniquets or anything that's graphic like that, like smashed fingers or like that. We're basically giving you people assistance until medical personnel comes. We're to help stabilize people. If you see somebody having a seizure, for instance, we teach about seizures. We can show you how to keep the person stable until you might have to call the hospital. We teach you what to do in a scenario of a seizure, or somebody having a seizure. Because I use seizure as an example because that's a very panicky thing to see somebody have a seizure. If you're not properly trained in how to monitor that situation, they can go left. And I teach that.
Being a victim of multiple seizures and 3 strokes.
Yes, sir.
I know firsthand that it is really rough. Do you teach anything about strokes?
Yes, sir.
Because it seemed like the people I was around had limited to 0 knowledge.
Yeah, and that's helping. When you look at it, the average person has 0 knowledge. And that's what we do. We teach the average person to at least have enough input to recognize drooping face symptoms, slurred speech. They will be able to look at you now from learning from my class and tell, okay, maybe he's having a stroke and he can sit him down. I teach those kind of things in the class.
Good, good.
Yes, sir.
Do you sell books and textbooks and stuff like that in order for us to be able to actually learn it beyond it? Because it seems to me anyways that 4 hours is quite a quick amount of retention to have to go in for what we offer as a course. To do it in 4 hours, it seems like something that would lose a lot of, the actual retained knowledge from taking it that quickly.
Yes, sir. I actually have textbooks that I hand out. You don't get to take them home, but we have a ready resource guide also. The ready resource guide is about 17 pages, and it covers what we covered in the class. And I allow my students to take that home.
Is that included in the $60?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Are these classes taught at a location or are mobile?
I'm very flexible. I have an office. My office can only hold about 6 people. So if they have any more than that, I like to go to their location. But yes, I have 2 office locations, one in Cumberland County and one in Bladen County. Yes, ma'am.
So if you were to travel, how many people would you allow to be in a class?
I do up to 10. If it's more than 10, it starts to become tedious. I can't, one person, I can't watch everybody doing what they need to do to make sure they have the skills. Because when it comes to that, we have a CPR class as well. I have to watch you do the skills. So when you have more than 10 people, it starts to become a little tedious. And also the class time can start to amount up. We go from 4 hours to 8 hours with 10 people. Yes, sir.
What I am thinking is that 4 hours or 1 day enough for the kind of teaching you do. I mean, it's very important. It relates to the well-being and life of people.
Yes, sir. It is.
Do they learn enough in 1 day?
Yes, sir. When we have this, I wish I would have brought one of the pamphlets for me to see. That was my fault for a sec. We have a notebook that covers every course. It's 8 sections. Each section covers. We have one section that covers CPR. One section covers frostbite, heat stroke. Another section covers seizures and strokes. One section covers first degree, second degree, and third degree burns. We go over them, and there are also videos that we watch with those after I teach the class. Well, after I teach the section, we watch a video. I do a back and forth. It's like we're doing now. People get to ask questions. People get to see what's going on. A lot of times with my profession, what I'm doing, I work with group home workers a lot. That's what I have a contract with. So with group home workers, most of them have been working at those places for 7, 8, 9 years. You are required to take that class every year. So they're just recertifications. So when I go into there, when I say recertification, they've taken the class 10 times. So we're going in there and doing a refresher for them mostly. But with new people, yes, I take my time and we talk about it if you have any questions. What I do know is basically the classes last about 4 hours. I don't mind the class lasting 8 hours if people aren't educated on what I'm teaching. If you don't get it, we can go over it until you get it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have advanced classes, or is it just the one level?
It's just the one level. When you start going into the advanced classes, those are for the ambulance workers and training personnel, those kind of things. My certification is for average basic people. Now, you can't use my certification for medical field. Yes, ma'am.
So, do you have a license beyond just being CPA or CPR and first aid certified yourself to be able to teach? And who administers the certification to determine if you become certified?
Red Cross. I'm certified through Red Cross. That's the only thing I'm certified for.
But are you certified? Are you required to be certified to teach, or you just have?
I'm required to certified to teach. We have to go through a training course. Our training course lasts 6 days. So our training course is a little longer. It's 8 hours a day for 6 days.
So if I wanted to take your class, who certifies me?
I certify you. If you want to become a trainer or instructor, I'm not eligible. Other than to certify you, you have to go to the Red Cross headquarters. I went all the way to Raleigh to do mine, actually. So, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So as far as training for strokes go, what kind of symptoms do you teach people to recognize? And the reason I ask that is because there are a lot of common complaints, like you mentioned the droopiness in the face before, or like numbness on one side of the body. But I've read that women experience different stroke symptoms a lot of times.
Yes, ma'am. The notebook, my training goes all into that. It also teaches the differences between a woman with stroke and a man with stroke symptoms. Also with heart attack. Heart attack, I can go verbatim from my brain, I'm sorry. But with heart attack, a woman, pale, ashy skin, exhaustion. With a man, it's tightness in the jaw and right shoulder tightness usually for men. Those are the different symptoms you'll see for heart attacks for women. I teach those kind of things. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Doesn't matter.
So how are you marketing your business? How are you marketing your business?
I do a lot of social promotion, and I do a lot of door-to-door. I will actually go to businesses. I send out letterheads. I send out Christmas cards. I send them out to the businesses. Merry Christmas. How are you doing? This is Gabriel Lacewell from Kape Enterprises. We're interested in servicing your clients. Your workers.
Who is your target market?
My target market is daycares and mental health. And daycares and mental health, you are required to have this training. The certificate lasts for 2 years, so you don't get a lot of repeat customers. But with the group homes and the daycare workers, they are required to take it every year to work there at their jobs. And also, just being frank, a lot of group homes have a high turnover rate. So I get a lot of business from them.
Have you thought about targeting, say, like school systems as professional development, because they do have certain funds for professional development, but in particular, private schools where they don't have as many hoops to jump through to get approval, because, you know, you've got a bunch of kids in your classroom all day. It'd be nice if they knew some basic CPR
Right.
and first aid.
I've reached out to Alpha Academy. I've reached out to 4-H. 4-H being a nonprofit, they weren't interested in paying the fee. Alpha Academy has yet to get back to me. I reached out to them though. I'm not new in Fayetteville, but my networking has not expanded to where it needs to be. So Alpha Academy is actually the only private school that I know of. So if
There's a bunch more.
anybody,
There's a bunch more.
yeah, I know. So I'm trying to get involved with the community more and figure out these things.
And what about organizations like the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, or Brownies, is it called?
Girl Scouts.
Sorry, Girl Scouts.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But organizations like that, because, you know, they have their badges and stuff, and they're very much into that. Or how about organizations that work at hospitals as volunteers?
They usually get training from those places. That's what I've read into with that. If they work at a hospital as an intern or something, they usually have their own medical personnel that train them.
But I'm not talking about interns. I'm talking about there are organizations, clubs and organizations around here that volunteer. Like I was part of one that volunteered at the VA hospital and stuff. And it's just a good community service so those folks can know. I mean, there are groups that would just like to know that's some basic first aid.
Right, that's something I haven't thought about. That's why I'm here. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm just going to make a few comments to help you here. Okay, please. Presentation to me is very important.
Mhm.
In the future, of course, you will have pamphlets and other things for us to look at and a price list of what you do.
Yes, sir.
But here is a comment that I think may assist you build your clientele. Giving away free, we'll say, services to specific groups. I teach firearms, and I hold classes for from high heels to handguns for women that are executives that want to learn how to shoot while in a skirt and dress, and that is unique. And I bring people to me. I have senior shooting. There grandmas and grandpas. We bring them. The name recognition needs to be out there first. You know, you have a product, you want to sell it. Who are you?
Right.
Until this morning, I knew nothing about you.
Yes, sir.
But if you look yourself up doing a couple freebies, and I'm not saying wrong ones, I have experience personally. Sometimes those freebies, name recognition becomes evident. Where did you get your training? Who helped you? Who worked with you? You may want to consider doing that. And come up with a couple names. Yes, I do first aid CPR class. Well, that's nice, but what else can you tell me about it? Do you do life-changing things? Tell me a story, if you can, about one of your situations. Have you personally been involved with a stroke? My wife had to take care of me when I had a strong seizure and almost died about a year ago. So tell me about your experience. What do you have? Because your experience is going to help sell me. If you say, well, I went to a class, it's just like someone tell me, well, I went to a gun class. Okay, so have you ever been in war? Have you ever really shot a person? There's differences.
Right.
So what real life experience can you tell the group today that you have used this on someone, saved their life, changed their life? Tell me that, and tell me something about what are your plans to help groups who do not know you, that can make a difference and get right up in the paper on Saturdays. I'm sorry, there's multiple things that I threw at you.
Nah, it's okay.
But I wanted to make sure that you got some positive feedback that you are deserving. Okay, and so consider those options, please.
I definitely will. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And tagging on with what he said, I absolutely agree. Lead off with a personal story that engages the audience right off the bat, because then you've hooked us. Now you just got to reel us in. Another group to look at are parents, because with children today, it would be nice if parents knew basic CPR and that kind of thing. So target parent groups or parent organizations, the mommy groups out there, those kinds of things, because they also want to be able to take care of their kids in case there's an emergency.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense too. Thank you.
Or even those that are a little bit older and have aging parents, that this may be a good thing to to have knowledge of.
who have living parents and stuff, yes, ma'am.
Support groups for all of these.
Sir?
Just to add into, of course, what they were saying as well, do you have any customers or clients that you previously had that have done testimonials for you in order to share for you what they gained from your class? And if you can encourage people to do a testimonial for you if they've taken your course, do you offer them some type of like, hey, thank you for coming in. If you do a testimonial for me, I will do a group discount for your next, gathering or however.
Yeah, I haven't thought about the group discount. What I do after the trainings, I hand them my website information, and I ask them to post a testimonial on there. I have a Google business page and a Facebook business page. I seem to get more traffic on the social media page for some. That's what people use. I can't get anybody to go on the Google website, but I have about 10 testimonials on my Facebook business page. When people leave the class, it's a little hard to keep in touch with them, and I mean it's really an informal type of thing because it's not really repeat customers. Like I said, the certificate lasts 2 years, so I won't see you for 2 years. So it's repeat customers are hard. So when I have them there, I try to get them to do it while they're there before I print the certificate out for them. And you do get the certificate same day. I even email them to you or I print them to you. And like I said, they're good for 2 years. Yes, ma'am.
With you saying that after you have those customers that first time, unless they're repeat customers, you don't see them again. So you have their email, so create a short newsletter or something where you're periodically sending information out to them about some of the newest trends or some health matter or what have you, but some way to keep your name in front of them.
Right, that does make sense. Thank you.
Because in 2 years, they have to come back and complete the whole certification again, or just is it
The whole certification
whole
again.
certification?
When you work at the mental health fields, they want them to do it every year, but the certificate technically lasts 2 years. So that's why I targeted the mental health field, and also I'm familiar with most of the mental health fields in Fayetteville because I've been it for 15 years. So that's who I targeted. But yes, ma'am.
Is it a little card that you get from the Red Cross?
Mm-hmm. I can give you a card, a certificate, a wallet-sized card, or a certificate, either way you want it. Or I can just email and give you a digital copy as well. Yes, ma'am.
Have you put your information out into, you said Bladen County,
Yes, ma'am.
the medical field down there, the doctors' offices, because most of them are covered by, I know down there we're covered by clinics
Right.
as opposed to an individual doctor, and the churches.
Yes, I've actually went to churches. Churches are tricky. Churches, I'm just being honest. Churches expect a discount when you go to them.
Mm-hmm.
I just did a training with a church that has a daycare. I trained 10 people, and the price that we agreed on wasn't the price that they gave me when the check came. They explained to me that we're a church and things happen, and because they were a church,
You had a tie.
thank you. So,
Okay, that brings up, do you have a contract?
these are things that you learn from failing.
Okay.
So, yes. Now, after that scenario, I do require at least a contract and a deposit up front.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to keep coming at
It's
you.
okay, man. It's okay.
Look at everybody who was in here. We're excluding one young lady and this one over here in the back behind me. You gotta get the seniors. So talk to us right now as seniors. Okay, we're sitting here going, I'm having a heart attack. Do I sit there and go, I can't get to a phone, so I'll put my hand on the chest and start pounding myself?
No.
What would you tell us as seniors what to look out for? Because this is your background.
Mhm.
Look at your audience. The audience is over 45. And tell us what we're supposed to do.
Accepted exception.
I'm serious because the first time I had the stroke, second time one of the times I was alone. And then I was found unconscious at another time. The issue here is I was with my wife the last time, but I was alone. What am I supposed to do to myself when I'm alone? and I don't have a telephone, or I can't get to it. This man here had a stroke and couldn't get to his phone. Now, help us to take care of ourselves, because one of us may experience the same thing.
Unfortunately, when it comes to things like a stroke or cardiac arrest, there's not much you can do for yourself.
Just call St. Peter.
When a stroke hits you, it's debilitating. It takes it where you can't function enough to use your phone. And it's sudden onset. It's something that also a cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest is literally your heart stopping. So if you have cardiac arrest, there's nothing that you can do for yourself. What I train for is that if you have a stroke with your wife, again, and your wife took my class, she'll be able to recognize that immediately. The thing with the stroke is you literally lose brain cells by the second. So if it takes her 5 minutes to diagnose what happened to you as opposed to 15 minutes, she just saved about 1 million of your brain cells.
Thank you. My wife has told me it'll be decades of brain. So I understand why.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll hear that too if I get up. Yes, ma'am.
I know you said that churches are tricky, but I think like you already established, a contract would resolve that issue.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you had a contract in place, another thing that would be worth looking into, and it would be a seasonal thing, is mission trips. Because a lot of groups will go on international mission trips. I know I went to Goose Gulf with girls, and then there were a lot of accidents that people got into, and we were lucky to be traveling with someone who was a nurse.
Right.
But a lot of groups don't have that, and they need to know how to take care of themselves. And then you also have what was mentioned before, that parents are going to be concerned about their kids going to a foreign country, and they're going to be in a different time zone, and they're not going to be able to call home and all that. So it's reassure the parents, and then it's also helpful for people who are going. So churches have that, and then you also have senior trips with high schools. So that's normally more in the spring before everyone graduates. So senior trips and mission trips with churches are really interesting areas to tap into, I think.
That is. I will look into that. Thank you.
We tied in very heavily with the Red Cross. One of the major things they do is certify lifeguards.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that up here as another avenue for you.
It is a separate entity from this. You have to take a whole another training course with a lifeguard. It's the certification that I have, it covers bloodborne pathogens. It's OSHA approved. It covers babysitting. It covers first aid and CPR and AED, and that is it. Those are the only ones I can do. The BLS, the basic life skills, I can't service that class with my certification.
I forgot, it's either Portland or Seattle. You have to be CPR certified to get out of the 8th grade or 9th grade or something.
Yes.
You're not going to die of a heart attack in Portland.
There used to be, and I don't know if it was, I grew up in New Hanover County. In New Hanover County, that was a prerequisite. You took health 7th or 8th grade. If you didn't pass it,
Right.
you didn't go.
So have you tied that into Cumberland County?
I have tried.
The fellows out there?
What's going on with Cumberland County is they're hiring their own people. I was trying to get into the bus drivers. The bus drivers have assistant bus drivers for the special needs buses.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get into that niche with that. And when I talked to I actually talked to the superintendent, and I talked to them. They are hiring people to train those people. They're doing it internally.
Yeah, they're not doing third-party contracts.
Yeah, they're not doing third-party contracts. So I couldn't get into. I really tried to get into that really hard, but they wasn't with. Yes, ma'am.
I know you said you were getting more engagement with your social media page as far as getting testimonies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How are you keeping people from coming back to your page, or how are you engaging your audience?
Well, with Facebook and social media, in period, you can sponsor your ads. I sponsor my ads, and I do targeting. I target them strictly for Hope County, Cumberland County, and Fayetteville County, and $10 to $15 a month, and I get good traffic with that.
But are you putting like meaningful, related information that they're sharing it with the public, and also like reminding them, hey, look, we have this coming up or that coming up? Different ways to keep your audience looking at your page versus just passively having those ads.
Yes. For example, I'll give you an example. June is National Safety Month, Safety Awareness. And I implemented that into my posts and with my flyers and stuff. I put them out and I offer a discount this month for it being National Safety Month.
So it'd be good for you to try to keep doing some kind of just post informative about your business or related article or something every week to just keep people coming back to look to see what you post.
Cool, yeah, okay, appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
absolutely right. The key is to stay in front of your audience each time, otherwise they forget you, and then when they need you, they don't remember the name of your business. So, a fact or a did you know, or one of your stories, you know, or something that talks about how important it is to know how to save someone's life. But I really love the idea of going to travel groups, because travel groups, you don't know where you're going to be, who you're going to be with, and what the conditions are necessarily going to be. So if you've got people who travel on a regular basis, or connect with some travel agents so they might connect you with people who travel a lot, that would be a good audience who want to know how can I take care of the person I'm with or the group I'm with and not have to be as concerned about where I am.
Right.
I really like that idea. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was. I'm absolutely right.
But put out something informational, because you got to stay in the front of people. You got to have them see you out there on the website. So you don't have to sponsor an ad all the time. Sometimes it can be, like you said, this is this month, whatever, or you might leave with, did you know that 4 out of 5 people, da-da-da. I mean, something where people don't stop and read it and share it, because the sharing it to your friends and all that is the free golden ticket there.
You're right. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I was just also going to add, have you actually looked into like summer, and then of course you've got your spring and your fall sports schedule, because we've got a lot of teams that do Little League baseball, softball, and so on and so forth in the area, to where you may be able to reach out to some of the coaches and be like, hey, are any of your people CPR, first aid, certified, stuff like that, because it may be a value for them to have to offer to the parents.
Right.
To where they can cover it through the parents saying, hey, you pay this extra $2 now, because it gives our coaches the availability to be CPR, first aid, and AED certified. And that will actually expand your market even more, because there are a lot of baseball leagues here in Fayetteville, especially at Arnett Park and Clark Park.
And that's another reason why I say networking is important. That's why I'm here. I did do that, but what I've done is reached out to who I know, and that's been the problem. I reached out to, they do football over there at Reed Ross.
Yep.
I reached out to some coaches there. I've called a couple of them individually, because I do individual as well. If you come to me as one-on-one session, I'll do it. I've called a couple of them individually. I haven't been able to get a group or a team yet. I didn't think about the baseball league for some reason. That's a good idea. I appreciate that.
Because there's a lot of
Yes, ma'am.
Another area that would be worth looking into is the homeschool community. I was homeschooled in high school, so I could tell you some places to look into, but there are a lot of co-ops, so people will go for classes one day a week, but there will be a ton of kids. There will be 100, 200 kids there, and a lot can happen. So it could be helpful to market there and say, okay, well, I'm going to have a class on this particular day. A lot of parents might be interested in that, or they might want their high schoolers to go through that, or their middle schoolers, or whatever, just to learn more. And it's a little different in how it functions than a private school or a public school would, because the structure kind of depends on what the families want to do and the rules of the co-op. So it would vary a little bit, but I think it would be a little easier to break into.
Yeah, that's true. I'll look into that. So thank you. So, homeschools have websites, don't they?
Homeschools individually, each household is considered a school.
Okay.
But there are co-ops where they can come together. Like there's one at Church of the Open Door. I don't know if you know where that is. But it's over by Nana Church. But they have one called Enrichment Day. And a lot of different families will come together. There's one out in Spring Lake at Liberty Baptist Church called Faith. And they'll go. But there are different co-ops, and I think that's what I would advise you to look into. It'd be a lot of different families, but they'd be it'd fall under the same bylaws.
Right.
So it would vary a little bit depending on where you're going, but I think it would be a good venue to tap into.
Okay, cool. Appreciate you. Thank you. Sir, you have a question?
Do you have flyers or printed materials that you use and distribute to various locations, or do you only depend on digital social media?
I have flyers posted, and I have a couple at Fayetteville Tech, actually. I go to wherever they let me go into. City Hall actually let me put some flyers up there one time. So I put them in places like that. The public library wouldn't let me do it. So who else didn't let me do it? The Housing Authority wouldn't let me do it. I'm putting them everywhere. I've literally been everywhere who will let me put them there. I'll put them. Yes, sir.
Maybe for the next presentation, you take some photo of yourself in the class, some of your students, what you teach. So you'll be using more the technology.
Right.
I mean, the computer and technology is available, but you are not utilizing. You could have done some of those, and that brings more the concept to everybody's mind. What do you do?
Right.
That makes it easier for everybody to understand because we see it in the picture.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That makes sense. Thank you. I will. I'll put better prepared next time. Yes, sir.
Do you cover any legal ramifications in your class? Like if you're to give CPR to somebody and they die?
Well, we have this wonderful thing called the Good Samaritan Law. The Good Samaritan Law covers you for many of those things. If you were offering CPR to someone who were unconscious, it's implied that they won't help. So if you did CPR and they didn't make it, you couldn't be sued. But that's also what a certification is for. It certifies that you are trained in this and you were trying to attempt to save somebody's life. The fact that you didn't do that, it makes you exempt from being sued or any kind of criminal charge being brought against you. Now, if somebody is conscious and you go to help them and you didn't get help, you didn't get approval for it, then you're on your own. The Samaritan Law doesn't cover that. You have to get approval.
See, there is a difference, right?
Yeah, you have to get approval before you actually administer help to somebody, unless they're unconscious.
And you cover that in your class?
Yes, yes, sir.
Do I have to give CPR if I don't want to?
No, you do not. You are not required to give CPR or first
I see
aid.
first thing on this floor and they're going, help me, help me. And I look at them and go, I don't like you.
Yeah, that would be cold, but
No, wait
but
a
it's
second.
okay. It's okay.
There is civil liability, a lot is not being spoken about.
Right.
So that is what, Don made it in a simplistic. I study it tremendously, that's my background. And if I decide not to, because if I go beyond my training level and I fail, or I didn't do exactly what I was trained, and when was I recertified, how often do I do it, who has judged you, and I have a long list of things I'm going to sue you for, because I work with defense attorneys now on how to take out training. If you are a trainer, people hire me to destroy your presentation and how you go out, how you do it. So there's a lot more. That's why I ask you sometimes, please consider that. Because people like me are hired to go in to attack instructors and make them look like a fool. Be careful when you're doing it. Teach to your standard. Don't go beyond it. Maintain your certification. Go to a meeting. How long do you refresh? Do you assist? Just because you learned it this year and you recert it in 2 years doesn't really going to qualify you really to give good CPR. It's like a shooter. Just because I learned how to shoot today doesn't mean in 3 years I'll be just as good. Or if you don't do certain things during that time period, we have a liability. It's called negligence. And then I come after you. So please be cautious, or at least aware.
Right.
While telling your people, please keep involved. Please keep involved. You know, just because I teach you today doesn't mean in 9 months you will remember everything I taught you.
Is this hands-only CPR?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Just as just a simple thing, like the name of your company isn't up there, and I was looking for it on Facebook, and I was looking for Kape Fair spelled with a C, and it's actually Kape with a K.
Yes, ma'am.
So that would be, I would always have that name somewhere where the people that you're presenting to can see that name, because I kept looking for it on Facebook. I said, where is it? And then I found Cindy's email with another name. I said, oh, it's so different.
Yeah, well, what happened, it wouldn't enlarge. I went over there for 10 minutes trying to put it on there. It wouldn't enlarge it like I wanted it to, so I'm sorry. But yeah, the name is on the flyer. It just wouldn't post the whole flyer.
Any other questions? So Gabriel, what can this community do to help you?
I believe, and I mean, I appreciate everything that's been told to me. I'm definitely going to use it. I believe word of mouth is the biggest way to get your business going. Even better than social media and everything. People talking about your services and your trainings and their experience with your services and trainings. I believe that's what runs businesses. Networking. I'm going to pass out business cards. I hope if y'all know anybody who needs my services, any individual or business that does, we will pass that along to them. That's all I have.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.